We are definitely getting into harvest season here at the Wandering Star Farmhouse. Thanks for joining us this week, and I hope that you'll subscribe and see what else we have going on this summer. This broccoli is what I told you I left when I went to camp. So it kind of grew up a little bit too big, got away from me a little bit. So I am harvesting all of that today so I can do something with it. But still some nice looking broccoli. It's not really gone to flower yet. It's just kind of starting to shoot up. So it is delicious. We like to eat it just roasted in the oven with a little bit of olive oil and salt. We also made a batch of broccoli cheddar soup this week. That is another favorite recipe of ours that uses broccoli. But then it was time to move on to harvesting garlic. And I didn't do anything to my garlic. I had no idea what it was going to look like this year, and I was a little bit worried that it might be a disappointing harvest. I'm harvesting the garlic with my Treadlite broad fork, and I particularly got the 5-tine broad fork because it is useful for harvesting, not just preparing soil. But honestly, in the end, it surprised me. This is why I love growing garlic. I did have a year in Kansas when it was disappointingly small heads, but that same year I was talking to some people on the student farm at K-State, and they said that the garlic was really small for them that year. So I just decided that was not any problem of mine. But other than that, I've just always had really great results with the garlic. I had told you that we were farm sitting for our friends while they were away, and we got to milk their 2 goats. And mostly my older boys were taking care of this job, but I did bring my little boys along one day to help milk. They were giving it a try. And we've been doing a lot with that goat milk, including making some goat milk caramel called cajeta. And then we had some other friends who had a prolific raspberry harvest going on and invited us to come pick some raspberries from their house. And you know, there's no way we would say no to that. We're in the summertime. We've got great harvest coming in from our girls every morning. So I decided to make a puff pancake, or a German pancake, or a Poppy's pancake, as we call them here. It uses all those farm fresh eggs and goat's milk or cow milk. So we always top ours with a little bit of powdered sugar, and then I topped it today with some of that cajeta and also some of those fresh raspberries from our friend's house. And there is nothing more delicious and nothing more indulgent than farm fresh food. The time has come. My first wheel of Farmhouse Cheddar that I made from my own cow milk from Sylvia's milk is ready for its initial taste test. We aged it for about 3 months and just in the refrigerator, and we were ready to give it a taste. It does have some holes in it. This is, I've been learning my cheese terms. So my curds did not entirely knit together. So that's why there's a little bit of these irregular holes in there. And that is just because the curd was just a little bit dry, or maybe didn't have quite enough weight on the cheese at a certain point in the process. But it still should be safe to eat. However, I'm still a little bit nervous about eating the cheese. So I decided, if we cook it, then it's definitely safe, right? So we decided to make some cheese toast. Jeremy made these Mexican buns, and we just sliced up some cheese to toast on top and to try it out. The cheese melted beautifully, and it is really delicious. And we've been enjoying it, and it really makes me want to do some more cheese. So I'll have to give it a try. All right. Yeah, well, I'm gonna slice it. Jeremy needed a stalk of celery for something this week, and so I went out to garden to grab a stalk. And this is one of the nice things about having things growing in your garden is you only have to harvest 1 stalk at a time. So the rest of the bunch of celery can continue growing, and I get to take this gorgeous stalk of celery in. My row of red onions is a little bit overgrown with weeds, and so I was trying to weed that some this week, but ended up pulling a couple of onions by accident. So I guess I'll throw those in with the harvest video. But my other 2 rows of onions have a lot less weeds. Then I was weeding my lettuce and accidentally pulled a whole head of lettuce out. So basically, I think I should stop weeding my garden. But we made use of that lettuce and picked a few other leaves to get some variety and made some tacos this night and chopped up the lettuce to enjoy with our tacos. Also mixed up some cheddar cheese with my homemade farmhouse cheddar and then added some home canned salsa on top as well. This is the corn and cherry tomato salsa that I canned last summer. Now, even though we are just getting started with harvesting really from our summer garden, it's time to start thinking about the fall garden. And so I am preparing some trays to get some seedlings going for my fall garden. I might even be, 1 or 2 weeks later than I optimally would be at this point, but oh well, you do what you can. So I really like using this tray. This is a concrete mixing tray. They sell like potting bench tubs or trays that you can do this sort of thing in, and they're like $40, and this was like less than $10 at the hardware store. So it is a great thing to use. Now we always want to have nice moist compost, and so I'm giving mine a nice watering before I start planting seeds in it. So the first thing I'm going to be planting is this Deciso broccoli variety. I've grown this a couple times before, and best time I had with it was in Nebraska, but we can hope to have a good time here. The next one I'm growing is the Romanesco broccoli, and it's the one that kind of looks like a seashell or something. Then I have these Long Island improved Brussels sprouts. All these broccoli and Brussels sprouts are easier to do in the fall, easier to have success with in the fall, just because of the way that the temperatures are. So next I have this delicacy white kohlrabi, and I'm also planting a Vienna purple kohlrabi. I like anything purple, and actually I studied abroad in Vienna when I was in college, and so Vienna has a special place in my heart, and so I had to try that variety. Also got some purple or red cabbage. One unexpected benefit to growing the red cabbages this spring along with my green cabbages was that it's easier to spot the cabbage worms on the red cabbage. And then I also have some seeds, these Brunswick cabbage. I will wait a little bit longer to plant some lettuces as well, and then I am planting these white stem bok choy and bunching onions as well. Thanks so much for joining me at the farmhouse today. We have a lot of fun things coming up, so I'll see you next time.